It's Toronto's podcast on the Canada's Podcast Network.
Hi, I'm Andrea Sessum, your Toronto's host for Canada's podcast. I am here with Sweta Regmi. She is an entrepreneur. She's the CEO and founder of Teach and Do. Sweta, welcome.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Andrea.
We're very excited to have you today, and especially at a time like this, where it's unfortunate we're doing this interview in the midst of COVID-19 global pandemic, which has affected a lot of businesses. It's affected a lot of employees as well. A lot of people are losing their jobs. Will be looking for second career, new jobs. So please, I would love to hear, and I'm sure our viewers and listeners would love to hear about who you are and what you do and how you got started.
Absolutely. So my name is Sweta Regmi, and I am a CEO and founder of Teach and Do, and I work as a career consultant through my company. So I used to be in hiring world, corporate world for more than 15 years. But out of that, I was managing the team for like almost 12 years. And guess what? I got laid off after 12 years. That's when it hit me, and I completely get you, whoever is watching right now. And if you just happen to have that moment of, okay, why me? I was there, and it was really tough for me as a job seeker. Here I was from recruiting world. I used to interview people. I used to scan resumes and everything. Now the tables were turned towards me, and it was really hard. At first, I thought, you know what, I will get the job tomorrow. They need me more than I need them. But did that happen? Absolutely not. That's when I got the taste of it. My ego were really, really high. And when I became a job seeker, my self-confidence and self-esteem became very, very low. And I started strategizing it. Why is it not working for me? So I put the plan together during the job search, and it all worked out after I started investing in myself. I hired coach and I hired consultant, and I figured it out. Imagine, I was in that world. I had no problem with the networking, nothing like that. And plus, I moved from Toronto to Sudbury, the smaller city, where I had to start from scratch. It was very hard for me, but I eventually got the job. I wouldn't say it was a dream role, but I was actually targeting the title, right? And that's all we do. And then I figured, you know what? It's not for me. Corporate world's not for me at all. And then I quit, I resigned, and I went back to the Teach and Do. Teach and Do was founded 5 years ago, but I was just, putting it as a side hustle. I was not charging people. I was just making an impact by helping them out, making a resume, interviews, whatnot, within the community, especially the immigrant community. But then I saw it as it's a huge, huge deal for people to get a job out here. So then I started, okay, screw all of this. I'm going to go and make an impact to the world. I'm done making billions for a corporate company, and I just gave everything I had, good roles and everything, and I started Teach and Do full time.
So full time, and you've been doing it full time ever since. For how many years now? 7 years?
No, full time. It's been potentially from last year only. So I was doing a part time. It was a side hustle for me. So I literally gave up everything last year.
And you come, and we've seen this a lot with some of the entrepreneurs we interview, where they come from a corporate world and they start their businesses as a side hustle. And I actually did an article on this recently, where they started as a side hustle and then it turns into a full-time gig. So do you suggest for any aspiring entrepreneurs to do that, or based on your experience, would you advise them to go in it full-time right away?
I would absolutely suggest anyone who wants to go in that world of entrepreneurship, just give it a try, test it out if there's a market, and if you feel passionate about it, right? Just because you see something out there, that does not mean that you're going to love it. I loved what I did, and I wanted to make an impact, right? Help people out, and I felt it as, okay, well, this is a time for me. I'm done impacting all those people in the corporate world. I'd rather do it from my own company. So I tested it out. It worked for me. And I had knowledge as well. I had those knowledge from the corporate world.
Wonderful. So would you say that you're wired differently as an entrepreneur? We hear often this being discussed. Are you born to be an entrepreneur? Is this something you're born with, or do you think is this something that you sort of became?
I am one of those entrepreneurs who just accidentally became an entrepreneur, right? So I think,
An entrepreneur by accident.
Yes, I
love it.
Everyone pretty much saw me as, okay, you need to do business because you're so committed to helping people out, and you're so passionate about it in the community, whether it's fundraising or doing the charity work, whatever it is. I was very involved on it. And I just loved doing that. And people saw me as entrepreneur, but I never believed it. I said, you know what, this is something I love. I would love to do that one day, right? But I had no idea I'd be doing a career coaching. So when I became a job seeker, that's when I decided this is it. If I had a problem, can you imagine people who are lost? I was lost, and I thought they need to know, how, you go from having no clue to having all those plans and strategies. So I'm not going to keep it to myself. I'm going to share it. And that's how I started sharing. And then that's how I started, okay, this is it. I'm going to go back. So accidentally, I think blessing in disguise for me was being laid off. Absolutely. First, it was kind of like, oh my God, why me? Then I started volunteering. I traveled, I backpacked and everything. And that gave me the reason of, what am I doing in a corporate world? I can do something better than this. And that's how I started and strategized and tested the water out there.
So I think a lot of people that are in the situation today, especially with COVID-19 effects that we're seeing and being laid off, who are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur or starting their own business, do you think this is the right time? Is there a right time? And is there any sort of advice that you could give them if they're not job seekers? And this is specifically for entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. So I believe in, if you have a passion, anyone out there, if you have a passion of helping people out and making an impact to others, that's what I believe entrepreneurship should be. And everyone should be looking it out as helping. Plus, on the side, paying your bills as well at the same time, right? You got to survive as well. So if you believe in yourself and you know that you can make an impact, I don't think that there should be any time. Recessions, depression doesn't really matter. As a matter of fact, a lot of companies like Youre and WhatsApp and other companies actually were launched during the recession time, and look where they are.
That's a great example. Yeah.
Right? They came up with the innovative ideas, right? That no one saw. Everyone pretty much thought that, oh, Youre, who's going to deal with this? And WhatsApp, everyone is on that right now, right? So
it's very true. It's very true what you're saying, because a lot of companies, successful ones, will find ways to innovate, especially at hard times like this. They'll find ways to innovate and win the market over. That's a very good point.
And especially on this, I know that you have university yourself as well, right? And you target pretty much specialized area. And I think this is the time they need us, anything related with the coaching, this is exactly the time the people need us, and we need to make an impact to their life. And that's what I think I believe in. And anyone who's looking for, well, this is not for me, this is not the right time, I really want them to think about it and see, you know what, probably this is the right time. They need you more than ever.
I agree. And I've seen you have such a large network on social media. And that's how we originally connected as well, is because I saw the impact you're making. I think you just celebrated your birthday, so happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
And you have something like 40,000 followers on LinkedIn. And for those that are on LinkedIn, they know how hard it is to win the market over, because you're dealing with professionals, educated people. So it is very hard to win that market over and have the followers, and especially 40,000 followers. I mean, Sweta, what are you doing? What's your secret? Advice for entrepreneurs out there in terms of, how do you engage with your audience?
For a lot of those who do not know, my Teach and Do offers personal branding course as well. And that's exactly what I did when I was a job seeker. When I wanted to go out there and get my name out there, I had a strategies, right? So first strategies was planting it and defining your niche, like whether you're a job seeker or business. So when I was a job seeker, it worked for me. I built my personal brand. I was not active in LinkedIn. I was a lurker. I would not engage, right? But I still have some kind of strategy. So people who knew me as, she does a lot of charity work. She's heavily involved in community. And that was my impression within the community, within LinkedIn as well. I used to share those. And that was part of my strategies because I wanted to go and commit myself in a community. And I wanted people to know me as, she loves to give back, right? And then I would boast about it. Why not? I would market myself. First, I was hesitant, but later on, because I decided I wanted to join the company, nonprofit company, I started strategizing it as a job seeker. And as an entrepreneur, when I decided I'm going to go full on with this, and I had a strategies. And within 9 months, I came from 500 to now almost 43,000 follower. And it was, I didn't see it coming, but I had a plan in place. I had agenda. It didn't happen. It did not happen accidentally. I strategized all of it.
That is absolutely amazing. And I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs who don't utilize social media at all, unfortunately, or don't give it the importance that it should have. They're not engaging with their customers. They're not engaging with their clients. They're not being active. They may have a post that was posted 9 months ago. But from what I've seen with you, and this is good advice for any entrepreneur out there, is you're very engaged with your audience. So you're responsive, you're very approachable. If there's a comment or a question, you respond. And I think that's really what captivates your audience and continues the growth of your followers, because nobody wants to follow somebody that doesn't post or doesn't engage.
And you know what? And I think it's not only about content. Like I write contents pretty much every day, and there's a specific message in my content, right? I have a niche and it's targeted to the special, audience, right? And I do target leadership team as well. I vent out sometimes, and it's all about coming from the corporate world, right? And I engage, and there's always about I do a lot of free contents, which I usually would charge for. So I believe in give so much that people would come back to you thinking that, if she is giving this free stuff away, can you imagine when I pay her, what is she capable of? That's exactly what it is. I give, yes. I'm not going to be on LinkedIn to make money because of content writing, but I wanted to give back because I believe in karma. The more I give, the more I get it.
I love it. I hear that from quite often from a lot of entrepreneurs, is you give and you receive more. Because we're doing this interview at the times like this, which have been really tough for a lot of Canadians out there, what have you seen in terms of effect on your particular business as an entrepreneur?
At first, honestly, I was thinking, am I doing the right thing by going online and asking people, do you need help? I'm here for you. You didn't want it to be looking like you're just here for money, which I'm not, right? And I wanted to impact to the people's life. And I think I'm totally blessed because it's just the message, how you put it through. So if you I've started pretty much promoting teaching do quite recently only. It's, if you need something, contact me or DM me, whatever it is, right? There's a strategy that I put it in place, and I think it's even better right now, to be honest. I am super busy. People are contacting me from worlds, and as a matter of fact, I teach people who are going to be landing in Canada soon. They contact me. I'm booked from them, so it's all part of giving back again. And they see me, what I'm doing, and I think I am okay right now. Luckily, I'm blessed with the industry I am in right now, coaching industry right now. But I do understand there are a lot of small businesses out there. They are kind of having challenges. And again, I'm pretty sure there's a strategy how you do it. And I think the point right now is just because it's slow, that doesn't mean that you have to slow down. You have to have a way to let people know you're there for them. And that's exactly what I do. I do free webinars. I do free sessions, and my leads, people who want to come to me, they see me and they come to me. I've never gone across and promote it in a cold manner. It's always about human touch with me, and giving away the free stuff, and that's where I actually get the lead from. I don't use a sign up on the website as well. And I know a lot of people, what they do is sign up for my checklist or do this, to capture emails. And I have not done that until this day. And I still get the lead, and, I have a strategy in place.
That's very good. And you mentioned a really important point here, that there was a lot of entrepreneurs that were wondering, should they stop selling at this point? Does it seem insensitive if you're still trying to sell your services? And, there's been sort of two schools of thought on this. Some people are saying, well, it's insensitive to sell at the times like this when, people are losing their jobs. But there's also a second school that's saying, well, you still have to sell your services. You still have a business to run, and it's how you approach it. So business as usual. Would you say it's business as usual?
Absolutely. And it's going to the brand, personal brand, and putting your, if you're going out there in marketing world and social media, wherever you are, whether you're on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, whatever it is, Instagram, right? You don't want to be sounding cold. You still have to, who are you to judge people that they don't need you? Maybe there's someone who needs your service so badly that people didn't know about you, right? It's just about, I think, marketing plan and the strategy that you put it together. I would never go out there and then tell people, hey, here I am, you need me, come to me, there's a price, this. Do you know what I mean? So it's, if people need me, when they see me the content, who am I to judge that they don't have the money, right? It's none of my business if people have money to pay me or not, right? My business is to let the people know I'm here for you to make an impact. I can get you from here to here, and let the people decide if I'm right for them. I might not be right for everyone, but I might be right for someone out there. And why stop marketing yourself?
That's great. Okay, so Sweta, where do you see yourself and your business in, let's say, 5 years? If we survive the COVID-19 and the effects, where do you see yourself and your business? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now?
I see multinational. I'm already launching globally. I have global audience already through LinkedIn, and people approach me from different part of the world, especially who are landing in Canada in advance, right? But I do see myself going out there and offering online courses to the colleges, university. That's my plan. And believe it or not, right now, college and university, they do not have a career coaching plan, right? And that's the toughest part for student out there. I do work with a lot of student freshers and everything, but there's no plan in place. And when the budget actually is cut, career coaching is impacted. That's the first one to go in colleges from what I've seen. It research proves it, right? Because they see that as an extra cut. And that's where people are not getting a job, because college, they are teaching textbook. They're not teaching anything. What after that? How do you get the job? How do you build your personal brand? I remember myself going to the college and learning about personal brand and marketing, but did I know what the personal branding was? Absolutely not. I only knew it when I became a job seeker and I became a consultant. I know that has a huge impact. No one tells you in colleges. So I'd like to see myself in going there and offering webinar session, whatever it is, in colleges and university around the world.
You're so right. And the whole purpose of education is to educate people to find or to become employable, basically. That's the end and ultimate goal. But if you don't have the assistance from that same school, being college or university, to become employable, then it really defeats the purpose. Because majority of people in school are there to be able to educate themselves to find a job.
And you know what, that's a great point. I went to college here, and then I know a lot of people, within the family as well, my friends as well. I keep on asking them. What hit me was, do you have career advisors in your college? They're like, yeah, and they're paying for it, right? It's mandatory requirement. They're paying for it, $20 or something, whatever it is, right? But then when you literally go there, the people who are offering advices, no hard feelings, guys. You know, if someone's watching me right now, advisor, you guys do great, you know, motivating students and everything. But it's a college's responsibility to hire right people. Like, you can't just expect someone who just recently graduated, now they're coaching a job seeker. How do you go out there and get a job? Like, especially when you've never was hiring manager, you've never written the resume, you've never coached on interviews, you've never done anything related with the career, right? And those are the advisor in a lot of colleges right now. They are coaching those recent grad, and I work with those people, and when they give me resume, when I tell them like, who made this, like, you know, the colleges, and I'm like, you know what, let's do something right. If you are charging those students, let's do something right. Hire the right people, expert, not just which is colleges are, you know, marketing themselves out saying that, hey, we have a career advisor, career team, but like, you know, some colleges are very bad at it, and maybe some colleges really good at it, but I've yet to see that.
Okay, very good. Good point there. So I'm going to get a little bit personal. I'm going to ask you what you do to unwind, to relax. You know, we've been all sort of stressed out, locked in our homes for how many weeks now? I don't even know. I don't call it a Tuesday anymore. I call it a Thursday.
Tell me about it, yeah.
So what do you do to unwind and de-stress and relax?
Oh my God, I have a hot tub. Lucky me.
You have a hot tub. Oh, that's great.
I have a hot tub. Yeah, lucky me. When we got a house, it came with a hot tub and pool table, right?
Love it.
So we do that. I do that. I'm still learning. I have no choice. It's just right there in my office. I work from there. So you know, that's how I unwind with kids.
So do we find you working in a hot tub as well? Is that what
no, like, I won't. But then again, you know, at the end of the day, you know, when you're tired, all of us as a family would enjoy that hot tub. It's a beautiful view out here. I live in remote, and there's a cliff, and you know, it's an amazing view. And then just by looking at it outside, it just gets me going, because a lot of people are not privileged like we are in Canada, right? Because I've seen the world outside. I've traveled, you know, mountains, and you know, where there are no roads and anything. That's when the perspective is, hey, I have a roof, I have basic needs, and you know, I'm extremely lucky. And just thinking that gets me going every day, to be honest with you. And anything gets me going, because we are super lucky in Canada right now.
We are. We have, I recently mentioned in one of my posts, we have electricity, we have water, you know, we have food. There's people in less fortunate countries that don't have this on any ordinary day. So, you know, even though we are confined to our homes and sort of working from home and functioning from home, we're pretty lucky to have all those available at our disposal.
Oh my God, yes, and you hit it right there. I saw that post as well, how you survived the last, you know, World War, whatever it is that you were in. I saw that, and it was a beautiful message. And exactly, people, like, you know, I want people to think that, you know, you were extremely lucky living here in Canada, even though it's in the house. There are people in the world, there's no park there, and I've traveled, like in a couple of years ago, once I got laid off, there was no road. I traveled 10 hours, like uphill. I went in, there's a school, one school, government school, people live in hostel there, and I have sponsored a couple of kids in there, so I went to see them. And that was a life-turning event for me. There's no gadget, there's no internet, there's no TV, nothing like that, yet they seem to be so happy enjoying the natural beauty. And that's when I changed my perspective on, oh my God, aren't we so lucky? So when I show my kids understand that too. And honestly, guys, if you're living in your home right now, but not outside and homeless, you're so lucky right now.
I agree. So some of the lessons from being an entrepreneur for other entrepreneurs, what do you know now that you wish you knew when you were just starting your business?
You know, that's a very good point. So when I started my business, I did not think about certain things, which is content, right? SEO, search engine optimization, and websites. I thought that, okay, well, I'm going to hire some expert. They're going to deal with it. And once it's done, it's done. No, it's ongoing. evolving, and content, I write contents every day, but then I wake up in the morning and start thinking about it. I did not see it coming, right? So I'm committed to it. I love doing it. Website, I learned from scratch how to build a website. I prepped, I tested it out, and I built my website on my own, and later on I hired someone to do it as well, but it's still evolving. And with
It's
the
funny
technology,
you say that, because I did the same thing, actually.
right? So
Yes.
and I was like, it was just testing it out and figuring it out, because me and my son, who's 13 years old, he built the website, the first website he ever built. We were just practicing. And then it was a project for him. And then I asked him what I need, and then we worked it together, and it was just launched just for a project, whatever it is, right? Then I was like, people started reaching out to me with the feedback. I was like, I know. I was not into this. I didn't even think the website was a big deal, right? Because I was just doing that as a side hustle. I got a lot of leads from referral and the community. I never thought about website, but then apparently it's a huge deal, right? So it keeps on, it's never ending when it comes to a website building and content building and digital things in the world. And I think I wish I had known that, but hey, we're all evolving anyway, right?
Yeah, I think one thing as an entrepreneur, you're sort of learning each day something new. I built my own website first. And it was, I thought it was a good looking website at the time, but, I learned along the way that, hey, there's actual people that do this professionally. And here's why, because as you mentioned, content and SEO optimization and all the things that I'm not a professional in.
Yes.
So you learn, and it's constant learning, I think, as an entrepreneur.
So, yeah, you're so right. And, I am not that kind of person who's going to be just hiring and going I do this, do that. I have to involve myself. I've been always like that. I need to learn. And that was the hardest part, because you have a dream and vision to deliver those kind of content and how you want it to look like. And it's good that if you learn it, for those entrepreneurs who are thinking, no matter how much you spend, right, go ahead and spend it. But I think have an idea, learn it. How do you go about changing, modifying it if the person is not there? Because in this market, you need to know everything, at least the basic of it. That's what I figured that. I never thought I would learn to build a website. Can you believe that? And I built one. Wow.
I love it. So do you do a little bit of web development as well, or no?
No, man, no. WordPress is really easy. I just go put the plugins and put the contents. I keep on changing it. It's there. The framework is there, but if I really have to go coding, oh my God, coding is the last one I want to touch it. No, coding is not me.
Maybe that's the next thing to learn, Sweta.
Yeah, I'm going to tell my son. Yeah, I'm going to tell my son. He was actually going to a coding class, and it got shut down. I had a high hope, but it got shut down. So I can't wait for him to go back.
I know. Okay, so with what's the best piece of advice that you received as an entrepreneur from somebody? Was there that one person that sort of said, hey, this is, you should be doing this? It can be a good advice or bad advice. For me, it was a bad advice that I received. That sort of really helped me and made me more determined in terms of what I wanted to do.
Oh my God, yeah. So I think not, my dad actually had a lot of business back home, but at the same time, he used to work in bank as well, but he was not a kind of guy who would do it himself. He would hire someone to do it, and they would be challenged, if someone leaves, right? So all his business failed back home. So he's the last one I would take advice, right? But then I think I would have to say to my parents, they kept on telling me for years ago, saying that, you know what, why don't you start your own business? But I had no idea, right? And then I think everyone who, still sometimes I get people who are like, okay, well, you're doing good. I could see that on social media and everything, but how much money are you bringing? I hate that question, because I never was here to actually say, you know what, I'm going to be a millionaire or a billionaire one day, right? I just thought about, this is my passion. I want to help people out. At the same time, I want to pay the bills as well. And then if I go away and sleep one day, then, I'm sleeping, then I would think about, oh my God, I made a huge impact to people's life. Because of me, they were able to pay the bills. And that was my intention. It was never for money, right? But again, if money comes in, why not? But I hate the bad advice saying that, okay, you gotta put the package high, you have so much competitors, I hate that, because if people start focusing on price, that's not me. I start focusing on content and quality, right? And the bad advice would be, why is your price a little bit like, on a lower level, or how, the stuff like that. You should charge more. And I hate that. I consider that as a bad advice, because if people are here for money solely, and you're not passionate about making an impact, then I don't think the business is going to last long. That's truly, I think people might disagree, but I believe in making an impact, like, relationship first, then money comes in eventually. It's coming without me doing anything. So I'm blessed and lucky.
And I think you're really onto something here, because you see entrepreneurs who don't form relationships, and it's short-lived. And I see entrepreneurs that form relationships with their clients, with their audience, with their network, and it's ongoing, because there is a relationship. It's not just for money. So
you're right.
It depends on an entrepreneur, I think, which path they're going to choose. But there's two types of entrepreneurs from what I've seen.
Oh God, yes. I know that in corporate world, I work with a lot of consultants. There are some consultants, they were really, you would know right away. And consultant had a bad name in the corporate world. And if you know, it's always like, cut dry, this is it. And I'm going to charge you for 1 more minute, right? And I don't work like that, So as long as I'm needed, I'm always there. I don't penny pinch, like, and people would tell me like, no, Sweta, you got to stop giving back now. You're not doing the nonprofit world. I love it. And sometimes I get like, abused as well, to be honest. I'm working on it.
Yes.
So it's evolving process to go and give back. Yeah.
Very good. So I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and they're just rapid fire questions. You don't have to think about them a lot. Whatever, first thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready?
Yeah. Oh my God.
So we have, if you weren't doing what you do for work now, what would you be doing?
If I had like $1 billion in my account, honestly, I'd be traveling and doing the charity work and then going to Africa and living somewhere. Like that's what I see myself doing.
That's a great answer. A great answer. I could join you.
Oh my God, love it. I did backpacking last couple of years back, and I met someone, my soul, lady, the charity lady, and she was
soul sister.
Yeah, soul sister. And then we're like, every year, that's it. We're going to go and then do this. And it's amazing feeling. And we should all do it. Backpack and forget about all-inclusive 5-star hotel. I've done that too. But then the basic like backpacking and going there and, just sleeping in the sleeping bag without that. Oh my God, it's amazing feeling. You would never be the same person. I want everyone to do this.
Wonderful. What is there a book that you're currently reading, or that you would recommend? If there's not a book, if you're more listening to podcasts or doing other things, is there something that you could recommend to our audience?
Oh yeah, so I mean, I used to read books before, but now I honestly don't have the time to read the book at all. But I think I read one book, which is As Good as It Gets by Marshall Smith, I think. It just stands out to me. Every time someone talks about any book, it just stands out to me. It talks about a lot of leadership. And as a matter of fact, last summer, I gave it to my son, read each chapter, and I gave him assignment. He loved it too, like 12
Great.
years old. Loved it.
That's great. Okay. And are you a morning or a night person?
You know what? I'm not both.
You're both.
I'm not both. I would probably say night person. I could probably watch movie until midnight. I think then I'm passed out. I pretty much wake up early in the morning. The reason being is I have a schedule. I have to put the content together, and I have a schedule. I start waking up at 5 and start strategizing everything. And
I think you're more of a morning person. So the majority. Do you do majority of your work in the morning or night?
Morning, I think. Yeah, morning. Yeah.
So you're probably morning person, and at night you relax by watching Netflix or a show.
Good to know that. Well, thanks, because I never.
Okay, just ask me. Come on our podcast, and I'll tell you everything.
Good to know that.
So if you had to pick one word to describe yourself, what would it be and why?
I'm loyal, I think. When I go and help someone, I am a loyal friend. example would be, if I'm loyal towards our friendship or whatever it is, or whatever clients or whatever it is, I will do anything to make sure that they actually get what they want. And I think that's how I transfer my the skills to the business world as well. And once I get client, they're in with me. All the time. Like, I'm kind of like their mentor. I'm on their face. Sometimes I'm pushy. I would send them a message, hey, what's the update? Even though I don't have to, I do it, right? And I think it's out of caring. And I think sometimes I get kind of like the push about, like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. They're your clients. Once they're done with you. But that part, I think I need to work on that, or maybe like not. I don't know. I'll see.
Well, that's probably what makes you successful, and it goes back to those building those long-term relationships we talked about earlier.
Potentially, there's a pros and cons. Trust me. When someone doesn't reply to your text or something, say, "Hey, what happened to that interview we talked about?" When someone doesn't reply, it's like, okay, what's going on here, right? It just, I take it to heart, but they do eventually, right? But then I'm like, okay, I need to know more than you, kind of thing. I don't know. It's not right.
I need to be updated.
Yeah.
So what is keeping you up at night these days? I mean, with everything that's going on, what is it not keeping us up at night? But do you have a particular thing that's keeping you up at night these days?
The only thing that keeps me up is I think layoffs are happening, and I feel like I can't do anything about it, right? Like, the only thing I can do is offer my advice based on my experience. But I have had a couple of clients reach out to me who got hired, then they got laid off as well. And that hurts me. You just put the strategies together and you do so much of hard work. And then I wake up and think, what about those clients I worked through? We put a lot of work together, and now what if they don't have a job? Do they believe in career coaching, right? Like, they come back to me, and at the same time, I feel really sad about it. It's more towards those people I've worked together, and I set them up for success. And when they come back to me thinking that, Sweta, like, what happened? Why me? And then I can relate, to be honest, because I was laid off and I had to coach them. I am not a counselor, a career counselor, but sometimes it's so hard for me not to be one. And you got to be licensed for counseling services, which I don't have it. And sometimes I got to be putting thin line so I don't cross that line. If people will tell me I'm depressed, I'm like this and this, like, I can't help it and I wish I could, then I have to refer them to someone else, right? So that's the challenges it's been, that I can only do so much. My hands are tied.
Especially at times like this. I mean, I think a lot of people are feeling hopeless. And especially if, as you said, they worked so hard to get the job, and then because of everything that's happened, they lost the job. So it definitely, mental health is something of an issue for everyone, regardless if you have a job or not, but even harder for those people who might have lost their jobs. Absolutely.
It's and that's where, career coaching has to be stopped, and they need help more than career coaching, right? And that's what keeps me all like, I can't help. I can't help. What are you gonna do?
I know. What's your favorite place in the world? I know you mentioned you backpacked, you traveled a lot. Was there one place that sort of touched you and stayed with you as your favorite place?
Absolutely. So when I was laid off, as I said, I went back home. That's where I'm from, Nepal. So we used to sponsor kids every year, and I had more than 5 or 6, whatever it is, every year. So I built that up, and then I wanted to go there, and we did a lot of fundraising and everything, send them money, within the community and stuff like that. And I got really passionate about that place. I'd never seen it, so I wanted to go and see. It was kind of like soul searching. I don't know what was I thinking. The person who never stepped onto the gym actually went there, uphill battle for 8 to 10 hours. I was completely sore when I went up in a mountain. Amazing place, amazing people, super happy people. And I've committed myself. I said, I'm going to bring my kids when the roads are going to be there and they're going to see this place. And I am looking forward to go back there again once the roads are built. And I've told my kids I'm going to take them. They need to see that place. And I think before I die, I need to go back. I get emotional about this place. So yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And last question is, there's a small tropical island in the middle of the ocean with only one phone booth and no internet. We drop you off there with no technology at all. At any time, you can use a phone booth on the island to call the boat to come pick you up. How long do you think you would last before making the phone call, and what would you do in the meantime?
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's a tough one. Oh God. I'm not an explorer at all. I hate hiking. So I don't see myself doing it. Oh my God. It would be probably, I would probably enjoy for a bit, like, probably for an hour just to look at like stuff around. Then phone call is going to happen, right?
That's not long at all, Sweta.
No, I am like literally, I'm a chicken when it comes to being alone. Let's put it that way. I cannot even be alone at home by myself. I freak out whenever my kids are going away and swimming, and I'm like, when are you coming home? Why are you late? And I'm really like that. So I can't see myself even lasting for an hour, to be honest.
So fair enough. So what would you do for an hour? Just explore around?
Yeah, just to like get by, like, just to explore and see, okay, I've done this. Okay, I don't need to come back here. Just to see what's out there. That's it.
And plan the escape, possibly.
Oh, hell yes. If there's someone though, I need someone, like some partner, my friend. Actually, like, I would probably need one of the girlfriend, because I feel like, traveling with the girlfriends are amazing. I've done that. It's like, when you have that soul sister, you don't need to be bored. Like, you can do whatever you want to.
Okay. So where can our listeners find you?
They can find me at LinkedIn, and they can just send me a DM. I'm heavily engaged in LinkedIn, and if they need to know more about me sections on teachanddo.com page.
That's wonderful. So thank you so much for your time today. Again, I'm Andrea Sessum, your Toronto's host for Canada's podcast, nation's #1 entrepreneurial network. Please like, subscribe to all of our channels to get the latest updates. Today, I had a pleasure to be joined by Sweta, Regmi from Teach and Do. And thank you so much again for your time, Sweta. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Andrea. So anyone who wants to be in touch with me, if you want me to mentor, anything like that, or if you're looking for quick tips, anything, just go ahead and join LinkedIn. And you know what? You would not miss it if you would not miss anything on LinkedIn. But don't be a lurker, engaged, and show me that what you have, and you'd be noticed. Honestly, that's your personal brand. But thank you so much for reaching out